Hi, everyone. My name is Jim Harrold. I'm a PhD at the University of Nebraska at Omaha, and I am your professor for PA 4530, the online version of strategic planning for fall of 2016. So what I'd like to do with this short video is just show you a few features of the Blackboard site. Now, this is a 4,000 level class, so I assume by this time many of you, if not all of you, have taken online classes before, so you pretty much know your way around Blackboard, but I just want to make sure in case there's a couple of people who don't. So this is the screen that you're going to see. This is actually my screen. I'm going to switch this to the view that you'll see as a student. By doing that, you won't have this orange bar up there. This is my student preview mode. So this is what you'll see on the Blackboard site right now, today, and I'm recording this on the 10th of August. So what you're going to see are on the side here, all of these tabs, and these are tabs that we're going to use quite often. This first tab is the Contact Instructor tab. You can click on that and you can learn more about me. The main thing I just want to tell you about this tab is that I don't maintain regular office hours at UNO. However, I will meet with any student, whether you live in Omaha or you aren't in Omaha and you just happen to be in town and you want to meet. I'll gladly do that. I just need a little bit of email notification and we can set up an appointment. The announcement tab, typically the site will open, the Blackboard site will open to the announcement. So you can see this is an announcement that I posted on Sunday, August 7th, and it basically just says that the site is open. The Syllabus, Textbook, and Important Information tab right here, you can see that this tab, this is open, and this shows your textbook, which is available in stock at the UNO bookstore, also online at unobookstore.com. This book, there's lots of used copies available from lots of different sources. This is by John Bryson, and it's called Strategic Planning for Public and Nonprofit Organizations. This is a mandatory book, but like I said, you can get lots of used copies of the book. The syllabus right here, I'm going to open this in just a little bit. This grading rubric, I'm going to open this in just a little bit. The sample modified APA reference page, and then the Purdue OWL. I'm going to come back to this tab in just a second after I go through all the other tabs. So weekly items you must do. Right now, when you click on that tab as a student, you're going to see that there's no content in there. But here's what's going to show up week on week. On the 15th, I will open up week 1. And then every Friday after that, I will open up each succeeding week. So for example, the term starts on August 22nd, which is a Monday. And so week 1 runs, for my calendar, the way I work it, August 22nd through Saturday, August 27th. And then every week after that, for the rest of the term, starts on Sunday. So week 2 starts on Sunday, August 28th, and runs through Saturday, September 3rd. So on Friday, August 26th, week 2 will open up, and you'll see in this particular area, you'll see a week 2 folder open up. So what I put in these folders is all the assignments that are going to be due that week, or I'm going to tell you what to do, what's due that week. So for example, I'll tell you what reading you need to do for that week from the text, or I may assign some additional reading. If I want you to go to a particular website, which you'll be doing a lot during the semester, going to the websites of government and nonprofit organizations, I'll tell you about that site. And I'll talk about what we're going to do in the discussion board, but then you'll want to come after that to the discussion board. So let me click on that right now. We're going to have a discussion each week. Most of you have taken online classes, and you know that the discussion board is a key element in any online class. So what I can tell you is that almost every single week of the course, there will be a graded activity, and typically it will be a discussion board, but there are some written assignments as well. Right now, if you click on the discussion board, there's 2 forums open. One is called How to Use the Discussion Board, and one is called Questions and Comments about the class. Those are both open for you to use right now, but starting again prior to the semester starting, the week 1 discussion will be open. So be looking for that. And then there's assignments. So it says mandatory there. So what I can tell you right now, there are 6 written assignments in this class. 4 of these written assignments have to do with the term project. I call it a term project. It is a paper, but I call it a term project. And 2 of the assignments are what I call short analysis papers. I have no tests in this class. Every assessment I have is written. So every assessment I have consists of either the discussion board, one of the short analysis papers, of which there are 2, and then 4 written assignments related to the term project. The term project will be due at the end of the semester, but I do it in bite-sized chunks. So for example, the first thing that you're going to do, which is going to be due September 10th, is a proposal to me. The second thing you're going to be doing is a term paper interview plan, because what this assignment involves is an interview with someone from a nonprofit or a governmental organization. The third thing having to do with the term paper is a term paper outline, because I don't want students waiting until the last minute. So about mid-November, I'm going to ask you for an outline of your paper. And then finally, the paper itself is due the week of finals on December 14th. So look at that tab. It's completely open right now. The last tab that you'll want to look at is the tab that says My Grades. If I click on this, it's going to show this. So you can see this describes each activity. So for example, week 1 discussion, I have the importance of strategic planning, and there's also an introduction discussion. So these happen to be worth 5 points, and you can see right here, I'm going to grade you based on 5 points per discussion. Let me scroll down a little bit. Here's the term project proposal. It's going to be worth 25. Here's your first short analysis paper, also worth 25. Your second short analysis paper, also worth 25. And the term project paper itself is worth 75 points. Just let me say something about this paper. This is a requirement. There is no way that a person can pass the class and not do this final paper. So just keep that in mind. Don't think you can get enough points otherwise to pass the class, because this is a required element of the class. I don't think any of you will think that, but just in case somebody had that fleeting thought in the back of their mind, I just want to assure you of that. And then each week I do a weekly wrap up. I like to do this in this class on Sunday. Typically, after a week is done, I'll write a little paragraph or 2 about what we talked about this week and what I think about what we did this week. So let me go back to the syllabus, textbook, and important information tab. So right here, actually, if you wanted to pause the video, you can, because I'm going to go through the syllabus here in a second, and it might take a little while. So why don't you take your break right now? Maybe put this on pause, and then when you come back, we're going to talk about the syllabus. Okay, here we are. There's really 3 things that I want to talk about right now in this part of the session. One is the syllabus itself. Second is the grading rubric. And third is the sample of a modified APA style paper. So actually, let me start with this first, because this is simplest. I said there's 6 written assignments, and they're all going to use this format, including the final term paper, which I'm not going to make you do a title page, but you will have to do references. So this actually gives you an example of what I want your written work to look like. There's a heading up here. There's a title of the paper. And then as you read through this paper, it's going to talk about how to reference, for example, how to cite sources in the text. And then it's going to give you an example of how to do the major headings. So for example, here's your paper: title, introduction, major section 1, subsection, major section 2, subsection, conclusion. This you would probably use more for the term project. A lot of papers you don't have to do subsections or major sections, but actually it helps you to write sometimes to do that. It's really a form of outlining. And then finally in this paper, I provide references. These just happen to be references I've used in written work before, but if you look, it's just about every kind of reference you might run into, including books, journal articles, um, official reports from government sites, laws. Um, there's just all kinds of examples of different kinds of references in here. So that's why I provide that to you. So let me move back to this page. Let me go to the grading rubric. A rubric is really just a guideline of how things work. It's really like the set of rules. So this happens to be a rubric for all written assignments. And then here's one for the discussion board assignments. Let me start with this first. Every discussion has a maximum of 5 points. I really don't want to give you 5 points just for logging on and going to the discussion board and saying, hi, I thought the reading was good. That's not going to get you 5 points. That's probably going to get you 1 point for minimal participation. 0 points means you just didn't show up or you just didn't do it. I mean, if you show up and you do something, if it's really substandard, it's probably going to get you 1 point. What I'm looking for in the discussion boards are, extremely thoughtful and show a grasp of the topic and its relevance. You'll do a good job of integrating course material and references to support the posts. So what I really desire for the discussion board is not for people to say, when you respond to a classmate, say something like, I really liked your post. I want you to discuss things. I want you to say, I don't understand the point you made in your first paragraph. Wouldn't it be better if you said this, or ask questions? That's really what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a vibrant discussion, because I will tell you the truth. Teaching online and learning online as from a student, and I've done both, um, you know, it can admittedly not have as much zip as being in the classroom with somebody. But then on the other hand, um, a discussion board can actually be better because you do have time to think through what you want to say without momentary emotion kind of getting in the way. So this is the rubric, and this is how I grade discussions. So take a look at this on your own and read all these blocks. Same with this. I talked about the 6 written assignments. So I grade you on category, content, and logic. That's what I grade you on. And so exemplary over here to unacceptable over here. And all of these have an explanation for why I give you the grade I do. So, if it's a 25-point writing assignment and you get 15 points, I want you to understand why. So this rubric will give you that kind of feel for why I grade the way I do. But also, um, I always provide feedback on written work, and I tell people where I think you could improve. I tell people what you did an excellent job on, and I always try to give you feedback to help you improve, really as a student, and in your writing. So that's that. All right, so this is going to be a little longer, and that's the syllabus. So here's the syllabus. All right. When you click on this syllabus is going to pop up. So a lot of this is kind of boilerplate information, but it's important. Look at this in red. A syllabus is a contract. Your participation in the course assumes that you have read and understand the terms of this contract. Um, I'm not a career teacher. If you read the contact instructor piece, you'll see that I had another career, and you can find out what that is when you read that. But I have taught for about 8 semesters now, and I've taught at UNO and elsewhere. So, what I want you to know is that um, I have responsibilities to fulfill, and so do you. So, actually, if we both do our responsibilities, I will guarantee you that at the end of the semester, everyone's going to be happy. So I want you to read the syllabus because I'm not going to go through every single part of this, but there's important things you need to know. Here, I talk about the required text. Here, I talk about how to get a hold of me, but you can also, the preferred method is my email. Again, because I don't have a regular office hours in the building. Disability services, you do need to be aware of that, and I want to encourage you to be aware of that. Do contact that office for accommodation help. Academic honesty. Um, this again is something that I put on all syllabuses, but it's really important. Plagiarizing is usually easily detected. I don't expect anybody in this class to plagiarize, but um, it really robs you of your own personal educational experience if you do. So what's this course all about? This is strategic planning for public and nonprofit sectors, and that's what I focus on in this course. Public and nonprofit sectors. Certainly uh, you can do strategic planning in any kind of organization, in a government organization, in a nonprofit organization, in a for-profit organization. You yourself can write your own strategic plan for yourself, and I'd encourage you to do that. But this happens to focus on public, that is government and nonprofit organizations. And so, what this course is about is my view that the ability um, for all of us, any of us, to lead in one of these organizations, we have to understand the ability to think strategically, to manage strategically, to lead strategically, and to plan strategically. And so, what this course is going to do is going to give you a grounding in strategic planning. I will tell you it's not going to make you necessarily a strategic planning expert, but what it is going to do, and if you really take the course seriously, what this course is going to do is it's going to make you very well prepared um, for the day that you happen to walk into your job and your boss says, "Hey, Megan, I've just decided to put you in charge of the strategic plan." This course is going to give you the grounding to do that. And so we're going to go through a lot of different aspects of strategic planning, and we're going to go through not just the textbook, but a couple of other ideas on strategic planning that I think you will find useful, um, not just to finish the course, but also in the your work world and in the other organizations you're involved in. So level of effort, this is a 4,000 level senior course. So um, that's why all my assessments are written assessments, because I think that writing is a skill that every college graduate should have. Class attendance, of course, this is completely internet mediated. There is no requirement for you to be on campus or to Skype me or anything like that. It's all internet mediated, meaning you can't skip a week. You have to have your head in the game and be on the Blackboard site, because there is a graded activity every single week. Submitting assignments. What I want to say about this is, if you look at that assignment tab, um, it will explain to you how to submit an assignment. And so for all those written assignments, I want you to actually post a written paper, not use the dialog box. And you'll see what I'm talking about. But I want you to write the paper, not write it in the dialog box. Okay, so course requirements. I talked about this before. There's really three requirements. There's the Blackboard discussions, there's the term project, and um, this scrolls to the term. There are the short analysis essays. Um, there's two of those. Okay, so the Blackboard discussions. 5 points per discussion. There's 15 discussions. That's 75 total points. This is our class discussion for the week. I will provide the instructions for each discussion, and you just need to follow along with the instructions and try to have fun with it. Really, it won't be just a plain discussion each week. Sometimes we'll break into little groups. Sometimes we'll um, do some critiquing of each other. So I try to vary it a little bit. Um, Let me skip the term project for a second. The short analysis essays. Okay, there's two of these, and these are actually two little assignments that I'm going to have you do that have to do with strategic planning. I want you to pay attention to this, because these actually are related to the term project. These assignments are activities that can apply to your term project. You won't be doing it about the same organization, but you'll be. Um, Oops, how'd that happen? Hold on. You won't. I I apologize for that. Okay, we're back. You won't be doing about the same organization, but they're a couple of the same kinds of activities. So here's the term project. The term project is based in this. Um, you will pick a public or nonprofit organization. You'll need to do that early on in the semester. You'll find an organization. It could be a small nonprofit. It could be an office inside a government. So, for example, I've had people do um, projects on food banks, nonprofit food banks. I've had people do projects on churches. I've had people do projects on a department inside a city, say a fire department inside a city, um, or a planning department inside a city. I've had people do projects on CASA was one that I had a student do one project on once. So there's just a variety of organizations that you can pick. The second thing you're going to do is you're going to find a person, a key person within that organization, and contact them directly and ask to interview them. So you're going to interview that person about their organization. And then what you're going to do is you're going to write a strategic planning based paper on this organization. So you're going to do a mission statement formulation, you're going to do a SWOT analysis, you're going to do a strategic issue identification, a strategic triangle, or a balanced scorecard. Well, you don't know what any of these things are right now, right? Um, so we're going to talk about all these things in the course, during the course. And actually, some of these things you could probably Google and get a good idea of what I'm talking about right now when I mention these things. So these are the themes that you're going to use. Okay. And then to help you do it, to help you through this process, what I'm going to have you do is the first thing you're going to do is give me a proposal. And this really is, I do this to help the students. It says 25 points. I do it to help the students. I mean, if you're really stuck, my job is to help you get your work your way through it. So in the proposal, you're going to tell me what the organization is and the person you're going to interview. That's the heart of your proposal. The second thing I'm going to have you do is an interview plan. I said you're going to interview people. So in about mid-October, you're going to submit to me a plan, and that really is going to consist of the questions you're going to ask. And we're going to talk about that on the discussion board at some point too. And then you're going to give me an outline in about mid-November, and then you're going to give me the final paper in December. So there's more specifics on the course or on the term project in the syllabus, which I really need you to read. Okay, so let me get to this part on grading. So if you go to the syllabus and important information tab where we're at right now, you'll see the grading rubric and you'll see the example paper. So here's the grades in a nutshell. There's 75 points for the discussion board. There's 50 points total for the two papers. Then there's 25 points for the proposal, 25 points for the interview plan, 25 points for the outline, and 75 points for the final paper. That all adds up to 275 points. Very simply, at the end of the semester, I take the number of points you have, divide it by 275, and I calculate your grade. And these are the standard UNO grading scheme that I use. So I encourage students to do all the work. I'm not sure how else to say that. I encourage students to do all the work. Please don't be the person who games the number of points and figures out what's the minimum you have to do to get a C, because you don't know what's going to happen. I mean, you could break your leg and be off for a couple weeks. I don't know. I just encourage people to do all the work just simply because you learn more that way. Okay, so deadlines. I told you that each week begins on Sunday and ends on Saturday. So typically the written assignments are going to be due Saturday at midnight, and that's midnight Central Time where I'm at in Omaha. And I always leave the instructions when things are due. All the assignments have the due dates attached to them, and when it says it's due December 14th, that means December 14th at midnight Central Time. Okay, so here's the points broken down week by week. You see there's 17 weeks. That's because I number every single week, even weeks when there's time off. So Thanksgiving week, I'm not going to assign any work on Thanksgiving week. Um, that's a bonus to you because if you're in class and going to class on Monday, you'd be there. Um, so, but I number every week just to be able to keep track of them, and you can see how the points are dispersed throughout the whole semester. So, what this means to you is that you're accumulating points as we go along through the semester. You're accumulating points the whole time. So there's no way that you can just say, "Hey, I'm going to wait till October to do work," because you've missed out on all these points up to then. Um, okay, this is something on deadlines. Deadlines, I say that, have it in on the due date. For every day it's late, I take 10% off. I don't accept papers more than 4 days late. So that's 96 hours. I will not accept a paper past that point. And by that time, I've taken 40% off. So please try to be on time. Incompletes. I have given incompletes, but incompletes need a real reason, not just that you fell behind. So I encourage people, if if something's going on in your life, please email me and talk to me. Don't tell me on the 10th of December that you need an incomplete because you had a bad week. That isn't going to fly typically. Okay, so the Blackboard layout, I kind of went through this in the top part of this discussion, so I'm not going to waste your time here by doing that. So, okay, so what should you have learned from this little presentation? What you should have learned is I'm a pretty straightforward individual. I hope you're straightforward individuals. I mean, if we all do that, then we're typically all going to get along, and at the end of the semester, you're going to have the grade you really desire. So that's the Blackboard site. That's the syllabus, and at this time, I'm going to go ahead and sign off. I appreciate your listening, and I look forward to spending this semester with you. Thanks.